So in 2015, 2016, there was a property. This one we were able to get properties like 20, 30,000 all in. So I found a property in Cleveland, Ohio, $25,000, and it was already cash flowing, which means it was a tenant in place already at like $975 a month. Okay. And so that particular property we did pay cash for because the bank wouldn't finance $25,000, not under your LLC, because I don't put properties in my personal name. I only put them under my companies. And so once I calculated, okay, the credit card is going to be at 0% interest, which means I only got to pay on $25,000. It's going to cost me, worst case scenario, $300. The property is already making $975 a month. So the rents will cover the debt. I was like, that's a no brainer. So I was able to liquidate the cash off the card, wired the money to the title company. The title company, deemed me as now the owner. I'm making money. I'm using the rents to pay the credit card. And then I'm noticing, wow, this really works. So then about a year later, the property increases in value. I'm like, oh, wow, I paid $25,000. The property is now worth $52,000. And because here's what I learned too, Omar, just because I paid a certain price point for the property, that doesn't mean that's what it's worth. It's going to be worth based upon what the value of the neighborhood is growing at.
Right.
So a year later, the property is worth $52,000, which means I can go and now borrow money, or the equity, which means the money that is now the value of that property. I can borrow money from that property tax free. Think about if you made your 1.3 million tax free.
Crazy.
Crazy. So I could borrow up to 80% of that 50 something thousand. So I pulled out 40 something thousand tax free, paid the $25,000 off, and I was able to keep the rest. And guess who was covering the new mortgage payment? Still the tenants. And I said, wow, I wonder how many times I can do this. So I said, I'm just going to go and try to get as much credit as I can and go buy as much real estate as I can. And it just kept working because it's really just math.